This morning, a new twist in the battle between former President Donald Trump and the federal government over those classified documents at Mar-A-Lago. Overnight, the New York Times reporting, according to multiple people briefed on the matter, that the government has recovered more than 300 total documents with classified markings from Mr. Trump since he left office, adding that federal officials became alarmed after the National Archives recovered over 150 classified documents from Mr. Trump in January. The Times writes the former president was personally involved with the documents, going through the boxes himself in late 2021. NBC News has reached out to federal authorities and the Trump team and has not heard back. It comes after Mr. Trump's legal team fired back against the FBI 2 weeks after the search, requesting an independent legal professional oversee the handling of the documents and asking the Justice Department to stop the review.
We've seen the drama play out consistently over these documents, these classified documents that were retrieved from Mar-a-Lago that many folks that are backing Donald Trump have been complaining about. But now the number of 300 is hitting that next point. And we're gonna get to all the pushback and the randomness and the things, the excuses that they gave that just don't match up after every piece of information comes out. So let's go for more of this information. The New York Times reported just yesterday, citing multiple sources who have been briefed on this matter, that the sheer volume of classified marked material recovered by the government is what triggered a federal criminal investigation into the former president. Remember that, because every politician that's backing him continues to say they just don't know, which we're gonna get to as well. More, the National Archives in January recovered 150 classified documents, while another set, which was also Mar-a-Lago in Florida, was given to the Justice Department in June by Trump aides. Additional classified documents were recovered in the FBI search earlier this month, and then that's what totaled the 300 documents in all. Again, that's according to the Times. So I was mentioning how politicians have responded to it. Let's go ahead and see what a Democratic politician thought about this. Eric Swalwell has been all over it. That's why so many Republicans dislike him, because he kind of says what he's thinking. But apparently he didn't know the sheer number. Watch his response when this is revealed to him on MSNBC.
To your point about the number, the scope of this, there were 300 classified documents apparently at Mar-a-Lago, which again, Jesus. I think yeah. What do you make of that number?
That's a lot, and just for your viewers' sake, the reason that they're marked top secret means that it often relates to force protection for our troops. So information about where our troops are that we would not want anyone to know because it could put them in harm's way. It could relate to our nuclear posture or the nuclear posture of our adversaries. It could relate to the technical means that we use to collect information to protect our troops and to protect Americans, or the work that we're doing to combat terrorism. And so 300 pages, just a basement stairway away in an open, beach house is not where you would want that information, especially in the hands of somebody who President Biden deemed should not even be able to receive classified information.
Let's review some of those things Swalwell is saying are potentially in this level of classified materials, because we mentioned it, but more details that he said it this way. Force protection of our troops, nuclear posture of us and our adversaries, and also collection means to protect troops and combat terrorism. That sounds like a bunch of things that Republicans say that they're all about, or that they say that they're looking to protect, especially when it comes to the troops and the protection of our country. It's the very first thing that the government and our figures should be looking to do, protect Americans. But for some reason, when it's this kinds of classified materials are in someone else's house, who is no longer the president, I guess it's okay. We're gonna get to more response, but first, Pascal, what are your first thoughts on the fact that they've got this sheer number, but we're gonna get to these guys trying to push back on it. But what are your thoughts, bro?
Trump, you got some splendid do. That's what I got to say about this whole thing. I mean, in my personal opinion, let's keep it real. Why would you have all these documents in the first place? Why are you holding on to those things? Then you got it somewhere that could be easily attainable. It's not like you're sitting there, staying there all day long with security through the roof. Anyone could just walk in there, find the information and sell that. To me, this is just sloppy. But then again, we are talking about this particular person in general, aren't we? So
and the thing is, and because of that sloppiness, he needs all this backup. He needs these kinds of folks. You notice whenever something does happen and then someone isn't completely 100% providing him with some kind of an escape route, they're disloyal. There's a couple folks that want to show some loyalty. Really fast, Jared Kushner, I would love to hear what you have to say about this, because Jared Kushner was asked the question. You tell me, Pascal, if you see an answer here to that question. Let's watch.
The New York Times has got the item today from Maggie Haberman and some of the other reporters that apparently there were 300 classified documents at Mar-a-Lago over the last year or so, and they think they've gotten them all by now. Why would the former president have that many classified things at Mar-a-Lago?
So I'm not familiar with what exactly the contents were, but what I'll just say from my personal experience is that, again, in the campaign, in the transition, we had a very innocent meeting with the Russian ambassador, and then 4 months later, you're reading that the intel agencies are leaking to the Washington Post that we requested this secret back channel, and then the New York Times and CNN go crazy for a weekend accusing us of treason, and then it turns out such a thing never really happened. And so, I just think you have to be very careful with what you read, and obviously just wait for the facts to develop.
Wait for the facts to develop. We're doing that.
What? Such a thing didn't happen? Okay. To
That's
me,
the idea.
To me, it's just basically them saying, "Oh, it was the wind." They're just making anything up so that they can save face, when clearly what's going on here is this is a serious problem, all right? And they're trying to just sweep this under the rug like nothing even happened, like this is just a fleeting problem, but it is a very, very big problem.
If you wonder if they'd have an issue with it, just again, we say it all the time, but flip the roles. Imagine if former President Obama took some classified materials home, and then after they went to get them, because I'm sure this happens in other levels. I think Bill Clinton did it as well, and they were like, "Hey, you can't have that stuff," and they took it back. I don't remember them having to go back multiple times and then them lying and then signing documents saying we gave you everything, and then after saying that, then we find out the level of classified material that's there, and then we have an excuse that I can declassify anything as long as I breathe 4 times within 20 seconds. Whatever reasons he had for how these things work out, you got folks like Dan Crenshaw, who said, "We just don't know why." I want to replay this again. We did it yesterday, but again, with these 300 documents that have come forward, and Eric Swalwell, who's a congressman, who's that surprised and says these types of things are in there. Do you think Dan Crenshaw doesn't know the types of things that are in there? But he said this instead.
It's hard to justify what the Department of Justice did here, in my opinion. And here's why. Here's what it really boils down to. It's not a question that it's bad to have classified material in a non-SCIF environment, right? So that's a non-secret compartmentalized infrastructure there. That's wrong, but there's ways to mitigate that. There's ways to resolve that issue. And I still haven't seen any evidence that that Trump was even asked to give these documents back. He's been cooperating with them on these issues for a while now, for months. And so why take it to this extreme extent?
Dan Crenshaw knows why. He knows why. He just doesn't want to say why, because people will have some legitimacy behind, or they'll know that there's legitimacy behind this FBI search, and they definitely don't want that. The whole point is to fight in the court of public opinion at this point, to try and get by this and then actually ignore all the rules and the laws and police procedure, FBI procedures that's taking place. That's really the purpose here, because you're definitely not going to fight it on the merits or the reasonings behind what's actually happening. So you have to misdirect.